Hey, welcome in.
Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast.
We are here coming to you live.
The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. You only win a Super Bowl 2 times every 5 years, right? Oh! The warm-up act is over. Let's bring in Melissa Etheridge, massive Chiefs fan. Melissa,
Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowler, and Trent Green. Trent Green, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
and he picked it up! He picked it up! He's gonna score! We'll see you next week, but until then, as always, go Chiefs. All right, welcome into the Arrowhead Addict podcast, Chiefs post-game show. It is a victory party. The Kansas City Chiefs defeat the lowly Carolina Panthers, but they weren't so lowly today, 30-27. I'm Patrick Allen, here solo with you for the post-game show. We're going to talk about it. I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of I'm sure you guys have a lot of feelings about that performance. I certainly do. The fellas in the Arrowhead Addict members private Discord certainly did. But look, Chiefs moved to 10-1, and I'm going to have a silver lining for you. Maybe you want to call it a bronze lining. I don't know what to call it. Maybe it's not a silver lining, but a little bit later in the podcast, I'm going to tell you why I think is, and we're going to talk about all the frustrating stuff, all the things that the Chiefs did wrong, all the things that we should be worried about, the things that they have to work on. They're not absolved. I'm not going to absolve them for this performance, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. But what I am going to do is point something out that might make you feel a little bit better. Maybe it won't. Maybe you don't care. You want them to stomp a bad team, and you think that that's what a Super Bowl contender should do. But I'll have something a little bit later for you that maybe will make you feel a little bit better. It's the Arrowhead Addict podcast. Patrick Allen here with you. Shout out to everybody that's watching live on YouTube. Do me a solid. Hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the Arrowhead Addict podcast, make sure you are. I'm going to get this out of the way so we can get into the Chiefs talk. Look, Underdog is the place to play if you're a sports fan looking to win money while watching sports. Over 5 million happy players and 2 billion won. Makes Underdog a fun and easy way to cash in on all your favorite athletes' performances. You can compete against players just by selecting higher or lower on 2 or more of your favorite players' stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So turn every touchdown into a win with Underdog. It's the best place. Take all your football takes. Which players are going to go off? You watch all these games. You guys know who's going to be ice cold. Make a few picks higher or lower. It's a piece of cake. I've been playing on Underdog. It's a lot of fun. If you want to help out the podcast, download their app today, and you can use our code Arrowhead Addict. That's all one word to get up to $1,000 of bonus cash instantly. Again, that's code Arrowhead Addict, all one word, to get up to $1,000 bonus cash instantly. Just select higher or lower on your favorite players and cash in on Underdog today. You got to be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama or Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 and older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply, void in Colorado. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. And there's our call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call 24/7-HOPE-LINE at 1-877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE-8 New York to 467-369. Okay. That's enough of that. But seriously, download Underdog, support the show. So listen, just me today. Fire up in the chat. I want to hear your opinions on the game. I've got a lot of notes on it. I'm going to start with. Normally we start. It's a victory party, and normally we start with the positive. So I guess I'll do that. The Chiefs' offense looked a lot better in this game. There are issues, but Patrick Mahomes, who has not been playing well, had a very good game. He was 27 of 37, very efficient, 269 yards. He averaged 7.3 yards average, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in this one. And of course, because he's the best player on the planet, he has a rush at the end of the game to ice it. In fact, he had 5 carries for 60 yards in this game, but most of them came, or I guess I should say half of them came, on that 33-yard scamper at the end of the football game. And I want to talk about Noah Gray, man. This is a team right now. They're still figuring out how to do things with the wide receivers. Xavier Worthy's still a rookie. DeAndre Hopkins he's just had a cup of coffee with the Chiefs. He's still getting integrated. Noah Gray, man, leads you in receiving in this one. Probably not what you want ultimately, but boy, has he been a security blanket for Patrick Mahomes. 4 receptions, 66 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Noah Gray's had a couple of games here recently where he's played really well for the Chiefs. He had 2 touchdowns last week against the Bills, only 23 yards, but was targeted 5 times. And again, so he's got 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. The guy just gets it done. He doesn't drop the football. He's where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. He's a good blocker. I know some people question the contract that he got this year. You're probably not questioning it now. Shout out to Noah Gray. Another positive on the offensive side of the ball, and let me know in the chat what positives you saw offensively. Xavier Worthy. So, 4 receptions for 46 yards in this one on 6 targets. But what I liked about what I saw from Worthy in this game was that he got targeted on some actual routes. He had that nice little whip route, hit an out route. That's what you want to see, right? You don't want him just to be a speed merchant, deep ball merchant. That's it. That's all he can do. That's just the Chiefs. They need more than that from him. And getting his timing with Mahomes, getting his confidence, getting a little bit sharper on those routes, getting the timing with Mahomes. You saw a little bit of that today. 4 receptions for 46 yards. Not bad, man. I mean, what would you like to see more? If he gets maybe 2 more catches, 6 for 72 or something. I mean, you'd be pretty happy with that from him on a game-to-game basis. Obviously, I'd like to see a deep shot here and there and some touchdowns. But I think he's coming along. I do not think Xavier Worthy is going to be a bust. I think he's going to be a very good receiver for this team. It just may not happen as fast as we all want it to, but if he follows a similar trajectory, and they talked about it on the broadcast, if he follows a similar trajectory to Rashee Rice, we just need him, firing on all cylinders for the playoffs. Shout out to Slothy for the super chat. Donates 3027. He says, there are sure a bunch of doubters out there. Oh my God, Patrick, there's no way we can win, but we suck more than the damn vacuum cleaner. We'll never win. He's quoting me. I didn't say that. Screw you. 3P incoming. Beaches. Appreciate Slothy's support of the show as always. Let's see who else in the chat has thoughts on the offense. Thomas says, Worthy reminds me of a guy you can see the talent, but just not ready. Yeah, man. If he was doing this and Rashee Rice was playing and Rashee Rice had, 90 yards receiving and a touchdown in this game, I don't think it's just he's kind of unfairly gotten a lot thrust onto him maybe earlier than, the Chiefs had planned or hoped for. They thought they'd have Hollywood Brown. They thought they'd have Rashee Rice. Shit happens. But credit to Worthy, man. He's still going out there. He's making plays. He's gotten open. It hasn't always worked out, but I think it's promising. It's not like he's disappearing, he's going out there. He's never open. They don't target him. Or when he does, it's just a complete disaster. He's playing like a rookie. He's playing like a rookie who got drafted towards the end of the first round. And, but he doesn't look like a bust to me. Major Chip says, Worthy is a really good route runner. Mahomes throwing shitty footballs anytime he targets the kid. Shaking my head. Worthy's going to be a really good receiver. Yeah, look, Mahomes hasn't done him a lot of favors. He's made some bad throws. Worthy's lost track of the ball a little bit. Let's see here. Other comments from you guys in the chat. Kills says Mahomes needs to make quicker decisions, but he's getting destroyed. Yeah, we'll talk about that. The offensive line, trying to focus on some of the positives offensively. Let's talk about Kareem Hunt, man. I'm going to take a sip of my beer here. Hang on a sec. Kareem Hunt, again, he's not going out there and putting up eye-popping stats or anything. 16 carries, 68 yards, average 4.3 yards per carry. And he got involved in the passing game as well. Three catches for 19 yards. He had a 13-yarder on 4 targets. Lunch pail guy, man. Kareem Hunt runs hard, helps him move the chains. I would like to see him have gotten even more touches in this game, but 16 carries is not too bad. I know they're trying to keep at this. They don't want to run him into the ground. Isaiah Pacheco's coming back, so I think decent usage of him. They did what they needed to do early on with him, but they're 10-1 now. So I think you're going to have a really good 1-2 punch with Pacheco when Pacheco gets back, and then you've got Hunt. I think the Chiefs are going to run the ball a lot, especially with the way this offensive line is playing and really wear people down. Decent game from Kelsey. He had a bad drop at one point. The other time, I think he got interfered with. But he was targeted 8 times, 6 catches, 62 yards. You'd like to see him take over in a game like this. I think the games where he takes over, like the regular season games, are going to be few and far between. It is what it is. This is where we're at right now. But there's nobody else out there really striking fear into defenses when it comes to Chiefs pass catchers. So you got to remember that as well. All right. So Jeremy says 10-1, about to be 11-1. Love the optimism. All right, let's get into the negatives now. Because there's just not positives on the defensive side of the ball in this one. So again, 30-27. This is a Panthers team that came into this game averaging 17 points per game. 17 points per game. Again, you're watching the Arrowhead Addict podcast. Do us a solid. Hit the like button. Look, I'm going to tear into the defense here in a minute. Bryce Young played a really good football game. You got to give credit where credit is due here. Steve Spagnuolo, we all know how good Spags is. He went after this kid a couple of different times. And Bryce Young stood in there and didn't panic, and he made the right plays. I don't blame Spags for going after him. You just got to give the kid credit. Like, this is a guy who got benched earlier this season for Andy Dalton. And if this was just all on the Chiefs defense, I would feel a lot worse about it. But this kid, man, he was a number 1 overall pick. He's talented. And I know it hasn't worked out for him, just yet in the NFL. But he played a great game. 263 yards, 21 of 35. He didn't throw any interceptions. He took care of the football. He ran a couple times. And when they blitzed him, when they sent that 0 blitz on him, I think it was in the third quarter, he just made a great throw. Like, they got there fast. He anticipated the receiver's break against, I think it was Cook, the safety. There wasn't really anything Cook could have done in that situation unless he knew where the ball was going to go, which way he was going to break. It was just a great job by Young. So as you're tearing apart the Chiefs defense for this performance, and you should, because this is a bad Panthers football team. They weren't out there defending Jerry Rice. You got to give credit to Bryce Young. Sometimes the other team just makes plays. And there were a lot of cases, not every case, but there were a lot of cases here where Bryce Young played well, dealt with the blitz well. And that's part of the story of this football game. But I'll tell you what, I think when it comes to the Chiefs, the book is out on this defense now. And obviously it's, when Jalen Watson got injured, that was bad. And who's going to step up? The Chiefs felt good about him. He was playing well with the absence now, of course, L'Jarius Sneed's in Tennessee. But this is now becoming a serious problem. Najee Johnson continues to get targeted. He got beat by Leggett late in the fourth quarter, but Leggett dropped it. The book is out. I think you saw it start to happen in the Bills game. Earlier in the season, teams were trying to run on this Chiefs defense, and the Chiefs defense were locking everybody down. And you get to that Bills game last week, and even though Josh Allen didn't exactly light up the stat sheet with passing yards, when they were in third and long, they had them in third and long situations, 3rd and 7, a few different times. Josh Allen beat them. You can challenge the secondary. And this is a Panthers team. You even heard it on the broadcast, right? Do you remember when they said early on in the broadcast, the Panthers are determined to run the ball in this game? Remember that? They just activated Jonathan Brooks. He only got 2 carries in this game, but he was, I believe, second-round pick, first-round talent. Some people thought, was injured. They just gave a big contract to Chuba Hubbard, who's been fantastic for them this year. And they said they're determined to run the ball. And they did run the ball 21 times in this game, but they also attempted 35 passes. This is not the typical winning formula for this Carolina Panthers team. Why did they throw 35 passes in this game against a Chiefs defense that has been one of the better defenses in the league the last couple of years? They've been playing well this year. It's because they watched the tape of that Buffalo game. They watched the tape of Bo Nix challenging these Chiefs defensive backs. And they're like, you know what? These guys can be had. Like, they can be beat. This is not, and a big part of it, it's not just the secondary, it's the pass rush. The Kansas City Chiefs cannot get sacks without blitzing. It's just not happening. Like, I'm sorry, like, we've been given passes to Chris Jones all season long. Chris, when are you going to show up, brother? You got the $158 million contract. You've got, is it still 3 sacks for Chris Jones? I think it is. I mean, he's been getting pressures. So I'm going to try to be fair on that. He gets double teamed, he gets pressures, but he always has gotten double teamed and he always has gotten pressures, but he's also gotten sacks for the Chiefs, except for this year. It's just not happening. He's not getting home. This is a game where, let me pull up the right box score. The Chiefs got 2 sacks in this game. They blitzed. Your sacks, McDuffie had a half a sack, Bolton had a half a sack, and Dana got one. That was a coverage sack. And that was it in this one. You want to know Chris Jones' stat line for this game? 0 tackles. 0 tackles for a loss, 0 passes defended, 1 quarterback hit. If you look at the box score, he's the last name on the defense. He's the last name on the defense because of all the people who recorded stats, he didn't get any tackles. FAU got 2 tackles in this game. So, look, I love Chris Jones. He's got to play better. And I think he would tell you that. He's not playing well enough. He's not getting home. And if you're not able to get home, and that's, see, the Chiefs defense, yeah, he's got 13. Man, Chris Jones has 13 solo tackles this season and 3 sacks. I don't know what to say. Like, he's just not, that's not $158 million. Somebody's donating money complaining about the podcast. Says what? B says, what the fuck? What happened to the podcast? Now one dude talking to the camera at halftime and one for the post-game show. Weak sauce. Hey, listen, man. People need time off. Sterling's on vacation. What do you want from us? What do you want from us? We're doing the best we can here. We did 3 shows today. I'm sorry we don't have more people for you. Apologies. We got one guy's running the website for you. Another guy was on the pregame show. Another guy did the halftime show, and I'm doing the postgame show. Cut us a break. The guys will be back. When we do 4 shows a week, yeah, we're doing what we can for you. The holidays are coming up. You might see some lean shows. Sheesh. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at the Chiefs for almost losing to the Panthers. Okay. So back to Chris Jones. Yeah, he's not playing well enough. And it's a problem combined with the fact that the secondary has, like, they're not terrible. Like, this is not a horrible secondary, but they can be had. You can challenge these guys down the field. You can challenge Chamari Connor if you get him in the right matchup. You can challenge Najee Johnson. Like, I checked this earlier. Yeah, your leading tackler in this game was Najee Johnson. That's not second leading tackler, Brian Cook. You usually want your leading tackler to be Nick Bolton, not a cornerback. I don't know how many times he was targeted in this one, but they're going after him. So you combine that with the fact that the Chiefs can't get pressure with 4, and now you're in a pickle, right? Because, well, if you got guys in the secondary that can get challenged, well, you don't want to maybe blitz quite as much because they're going to lose one-on-one battles. But if you drop into zone, they're going to have all day to throw because nobody can get home. So the Chiefs, like, I don't know how many snaps Josh Uche played in this game, but you traded for the guy for a reason. Josh Uche and getting Omenihu back, like, that can't happen soon enough. Because the Chiefs, when they lost Snead, last year they could lock it down with McDuffie and Snead was taking away the best player on the field, the best wide receiver. Then you got McDuffie, and they could lock it down. They could blitz those guys. They could get really multiple on defense. Now without Snead, with injury to Watson, and with the lack of pressure up front, this is what you're seeing. It's been 10 games. NFL teams have tape on what the Chiefs do well, stopping the run, and what they don't do particularly well, which is getting pressure and defending the pass. So your gut, like, this is not the end of this. It's the beginning. The book is out on this team, and now it's going to be about what the Chiefs do to adjust to it. And we often see this in the middle of the football season, right? Like, it's not a reason to totally freak out and panic. It's a long season. You come in with certain things that you've got planned. Teams don't know about it. You do them well for a little bit. Teams kind of start to figure out what your weaknesses are. They start to attack them, and then you have to adjust. Bad teams, shitty teams, they're not able to adjust. They don't have anything else. That's why you often see crappy teams will come out. You're supposed to be bad, and they win a couple games, and you're like, oh, are they good? And then, no, they're not good. They end up sucking because they just don't have answers. The Chiefs are a team that has answers. They have the coaching staff. They have good players. But right now they're going through a little bit of that mid-season issue where I think teams have adjusted to them. Injuries have hit, and they kind of have to reinvent themselves. And we see this every year. Let's see what Angry Drunken German has to say. He says, our D is so terrible, I bet we barely win the next 2 Super Bowls. Probably not even by 10 points. Russell says, we need to relax. Reinforcements are on the way. Yeah, look, this isn't a panic. It is a reaction to what we are seeing, right? That's okay. It's okay to look at the Chiefs right now and be like, Chiefs aren't playing very well. It doesn't mean they're not 10-1, and it doesn't mean that they're not going to win the Super Bowl. It just means they're not playing very well. Patrick Mahomes has not been playing very well, and today he played well. The defense has been playing pretty damn good, despite some issues and some injuries. Today they played like dog crap, complete dog crap. They're going to tell you that. They did okay in the red zone early in the game. They weren't able to make adjustments at halftime. In fact, it got worse. Okay, so it is what it is. It's not a death sentence. It's just, what did we see? What do the Chiefs need to work on? That's what they're going to do. Imagine if the Chiefs didn't evaluate themselves. They were like, we're 10-1. The defense is fine. And then they just, didn't look at the film. It didn't look what they needed to correct. The Chiefs got to start getting home. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if Chris Jones is playing too many snaps, if he's tired. I don't know what it is, but they've got to figure out a way to get pressure. Because, look, Bryce Young in this one, 21 of 35, 263 yards. And they were even able to run on the Chiefs a little bit. Ultimately, they did a good job on Chuba Hubbard. 16 carries for 58 yards. If you look at the box score, you'll see that the Panthers averaged 4 yards per carry, but that's largely because of 3 Bryce Young rushes for 20 yards that popped their average up over 4. But I think if you're a Chiefs fan, you'll take 21 for 85 in most games. It's just the passing. And what's kind of disheartening is the guys who were torching this Chiefs secondary. I have a lot of respect for, David Moore, Adam Thielen. I've met in person and interviewed. He's a tremendous guy. But like, these guys are not at the stage of the career where they should be burning you. David Moore targeted 10 times in this one, 6 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown. Adam Thielen, wily veteran. He's a guy I wanted on the Chiefs last year. 3 receptions for 57 yards on 4 targets. The rookie, Xavier, I think is going to be good. He's not good yet. 4 receptions for 56 yards on 6 targets. He had that drop on Najee Johnson. So, credit credit to the Panthers. If the Chiefs are going out there with David Moore and Adam Thielen, like we wouldn't be happy about it. And these guys were torching this secondary. Let's see. Kansas City area youth jazz says McDuffie and Watson were like McDuffie and Snead last season. Need a cornerback too. Missing Watson's a huge blow. It is. It really is. So that's what it comes down to, right? It's pressure versus the secondary. And so the Chiefs need to figure out a way to throw some different looks. They've got another game to do it. They've got the Raiders next week, and that's not a good offense. But the Chiefs have had difficulty with tight ends, and boy, Brock Bowers is really good. He's tearing people up. So the Chiefs are going to have to contend with him. And this is a short week. Remember, the Chiefs play on Friday, on Black Friday, against the Raiders. And then they play the Chargers, who are playing really good football right now, and their offense has come alive. So in that Raiders game on a short week, the Chiefs need to figure out how to defend the pass and how to get more pressure. And hopefully these reinforcements can get back and help slow things down, because this really shouldn't have been. If I told you before the game, hey, the Chiefs, they're going to score on every single drive in the first half that they have the ball, and then in the second half, when they get the ball, they're going to go on a 10-play, 75-yard touchdown drive, you would have said that this was a blowout. It was going to be a blowout. Shout out to Angry Junket German, by the way, who just gifted 10 Arrowhead Addict memberships. You want to be a member of the crew, you want to flip out and argue with us in the Discord during the games, snatch one of those up. Appreciate Angry Junket German. So this is how the Chiefs offensively started the game. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. Those drives were, the first one was 3 plays for 41 yards, and then 11 plays for 68, 14 plays for 47, 14 plays for 92. Right? 29 at the half, but the Panthers were moving the football. They just weren't scoring touchdowns. And then in the second quarter, the Panthers open it up, or the third quarter, with a 15-play, 70-yard drive. They took up 8 minutes and 34 seconds off the clock, but then the Chiefs answered. And then that's where it was like the minute, and then the Panthers got a field goal, and then the minute the Chiefs, they didn't punt until the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left. It was the first time the Chiefs punted, and they were winning 27-19. But they almost went to overtime. Yes, you'd like to see more from the Chiefs offensively in the second half, but I mean, they went out and they scored a touchdown. And then the defense gave up a long drive that ended in a field goal, and then they punted. They went 9 plays for 14 yards. So it's an uneven game for them. But they've got to be better. Let's see if we got anything in the chat here. Angry Drunken German says of the memberships that he donated, enjoy the ride, people, as good as it gets. It is a lot of fun being a member of this podcast. Okay, let's see what other notes I've got here. Slothy, Slothy donated. Richard just told me Slothy also donated 10 memberships. You guys, listen, if you're looking to find like-minded Chiefs fans or Chiefs fans that you can argue about, we got guys in there that are like, this is okay, we're going to be fine. We got guys like, this is a serious problem. It's good discourse. It's good discussion. But that's kind of people that we have. They want more of you to be members of this community that we're building here. So they pay to be members, and then they gift memberships. It's amazing. So those are the people that you're joining. Jeremy says he wants to see me jump in the pool again. 3P, let's go. So we're going to be down in New Orleans for the Super Bowl this year. We'll be there. Hopefully the Chiefs will be too. So they should have some decent weather down there. I don't know if the Airbnbs that we're booking have a pool, but I'm going to talk to my boss about that. All right, we got to talk about the protection. Sound off in the chat about what you think about the protection. It just continues to be an issue, man. They mentioned it on the broadcast. The Panthers came into this game they were one of the worst NFL teams in getting sacks this year, except they played the Kansas City Chiefs today. And so they got 5 sacks, 8 quarterback hits in this game. So something's got to give. So I haven't got to speak on this because it happened after the OG hour on Thursday, but the Chiefs are signing DJ Humphries, former Pro Bowler, played for Tampa Bay. Not an all-world player, but he'd been injured, and now he's cleared to play, and Kansas City jumped on it. And maybe they had been eyeing him for a while now, which could speak to why they didn't do anything at the trade deadline, because they knew that DJ was going to be available, and maybe they had even talked to him. They need him to come in and be league average. I love Wanya Morris. He's been on the show before. He is a great, great kid, and he's talented. And I'm glad he's gotten all these reps. But this is not a rebuilding franchise. This is a team going for a three-peat, and his play is just not good enough now. It's just not. And he's a liability. There was a sack late in the game on a third down where I believe it was Kelsey chipped for him, and he still just completely whiffed, and they blew by him, and they got the sack. It's a huge problem. Kingsley Suamataia is even worse right now. And look, that's on Brett Veach and the front office. Like, they thought that they had it in Suamataia, and they were wrong. And Wanya Morris is not it either right now. And they do a lot of amazing things as front office, but that is hamstringing this offense a little bit. It's part of the reason, not the only reason, why Mahomes isn't playing well. And it's part of the reason why they almost lost this game. They were all over Mahomes. He's seeing ghosts out there. Sometimes he's leaving the pocket early, but like, can you blame him? He doesn't have a ton of confidence that the wide receivers are going to get open. And then he doesn't have a ton of confidence that his tackles are going to hold up. So if Humphries can come in and give them just the level of play that Donovan Smith gave them last year, I think it's really going to solidify things for this offense. Vladimir Putin with the super chat, appreciate you. Says, no reason. Well, I'm kind of drunk. Thanks for holding it down, Patrick. Appreciate you, brother. If Humphries can get up to speed, and it may take some time, like he isn't, I don't think he's going to be going out there anytime soon and playing 60 snaps. He's not in game shape. This is going to be huge for the Chiefs, because Jawan Taylor on the right side is a walking penalty. He's a walking penalty. He had back-to-back penalties in the fourth quarter. He struggles at times. If it wasn't for the big contract, fine. If it wasn't for the issues on the left side, it'd be fine. But it amplifies everything, right? Like, you've got a guy on the left side that is in over his head. He's a backup tackle right now. And then you got a guy over on the right side who is inconsistent and just cannot go a game without at least one or two boneheaded penalties. Just can't do it. So that should make you mad if you're a Chiefs fan, because you've got Patrick Mahomes out there, and you've got this amazing interior offensive line with Creed Humphrey and Joe Thuney and Trey Smith. And you got a couple of road cones on the outside. This is what it is. So if Humphries can come in, it's going to make the offense work better. It just is. And so just cross your fingers that he's healthy and he's got something left in the tank, because he can be a good player. He can be a good player for the Chiefs, but the protection is, he can't get here soon enough, man. I mean, it's bad. And you can see how it's affecting Mahomes. The second somebody starts to get around the edge, even if they're actually not in great position, Mahomes is bailing. And oftentimes with this offense, it's like Mahomes, it's succeeding in spite of itself because Mahomes is so brilliant. But you can see that a lot of times things just aren't happening on schedule. It's not like when you watch other teams, Mahomes just assumes, like, if that first thing's not there, I better run, man, because I'm not going to be able to stand back here for 3 or 4 seconds. So, yeah, it's not good, man. They've got to fix it. And hopefully this is the move. This is the late season move. And look, you do have to give the Chiefs some credit here. You'd watch this podcast if you didn't know anything about the Chiefs or the NFL, and you'd be like, wow, this guy, he roots for a team. And they stink. They're 10-1. So that should be really encouraging to you. But there's just some issues here that they have got to clean up. The secondary, the pass rush, I think those are fixable. I really do. Spags is smart enough to scheme around it. I don't think Chris Jones is washed or anything. Karlaftis, people could be banged up. Like, they're just the guy to get Omenihu back. Remember, he had 7 sacks for them last year. 5 of those came after December 1st. He had 1 in the playoffs. So if Omenihu is right, it could change everything for this defense. It could make Najee Johnson's life a lot easier. It could make Cook's life a lot easier. Spags' life a lot easier. And make it so that the Chiefs can be a little bit more multiple on defense with some of the tricky things that they like to do. But right now, expect teams to continue attacking the Chiefs through the air until they show that they can consistently get pressure or can consistently stop it, or preferably both. And so hopefully we see Omenihu back getting rotated in. Hopefully we see them using Uche. And then hopefully Humphreys gets in there, starts getting up to game speed, and they start giving him some snaps. And he can solidify that left tackle spot. If they can accomplish those 3 things, I think they're fine. And the fact that they've gotten themselves a 10-1 cushion is fantastic. But if they don't fix these things, they're going to lose games down the stretch. Like, playing how they're playing right now, can they lose at home on Sunday Night Football to the Chargers? Absolutely. Absolutely. Could they lose to the Texans? 100%. Christmas Day on 3 days rest to the Steelers on the road? Yep. And then the Broncos at Mile High at the end of the season. So, you don't want the Chiefs to limp into the playoffs, especially if they're getting Hollywood Brown back. Like, if they're able to get Hollywood Brown back, that's just more practice time for him rather than having to play that extra game because they've got to play in the wild card round. So if the Chiefs need to, I really do think this is a year they really need to get that number 1 seed. So they got to figure out a way to keep winning these games. Awesome says Tranquil looks slower. Bolton is slow. We miss Willie Gay. I don't know, man. It's tough. These guys are really good. I mean, they've been tremendous against the run. They've got some limitations in pass coverage. Chanel's been amazing. I thought there was a play where Bryce Young was rolling out, I think on a 3rd down. And Turk Wharton, number 98, took off to try to cut him off. He was moving. Turk Wharton, man, has had a really nice season for the Chiefs. He's playing well, and he can scoot. I didn't know he was that fast. That's pretty incredible. Oh, yeah, Zap the Man says Spencer Schrader. Yeah, great job by him in a tight spot where the Chiefs are also missing Butker. Like, it's easy to forget that they don't have Harrison Butker, one of their best players right now. All right, so at the beginning of the show, I talked to you about a silver lining. And I'm going to lay it on you. So this is a game the Chiefs should have beat the hell out of the Panthers. Like, they should have won by 2 touchdowns at least. Instead, the game was tied, and the Chiefs needed a last second drive to win it. And there are those in the Chiefs kingdom. I know nobody here, nobody watching the show right now or nobody listening later, but there are those in the Chiefs kingdom who watch a game like this and they go absolutely ballistic. They go into full-on panic mode. They lose all sense of reason or perspective, and they're just like, we stink. It's over. Pack it up. Might as well head back to training camp and start getting ready for 2025. And I want to tell you that this is the kind of crap that happens in the NFL season at this time of year and later. In fact, it happens to our very own Kansas City Chiefs. May I draw your attention to a game that the Chiefs played on December 18th? That's almost a little under a month from now. December 18th, 2022. Kansas City Chiefs, 11-3. The Houston Texans, 1-12. Kansas City, 30. Houston, 24 in overtime. This was a game in a year where the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. This is a game where Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll and Philip Dorsett threw passes for the Houston Texans. Royce Freeman was the leading running back for the Texans. He had 51 yards. Your leading receiver in this game was Chris Moore. This is who caught passes for the Texans on that day. Chris Moore, Amari Rodgers, Jordan Akins, Rex Burkhead, Brevin Jordan. I don't even know half those guys are. Royce Freeman and Davis Mills were your leading rushers. 30-24, Chiefs won in overtime. Mahomes had threw for 336 yards and 2 touchdowns and no picks. Pacheco ran for 86 yards. The Chiefs as a team ran for 189 yards in this game. Kelsey had 105 and 10 receptions. Juju Smith-Schuster, 10 for 88. This is the year Patrick Mahomes won the MVP. And they almost lost to the 1-11, 1-12 after the game, Houston Texans. In December, last year, on Christmas Day, the Kansas City Chiefs played one of the worst football games I've ever seen at home against the Raiders, which actually is probably a good thing because I think it got Antonio Pierce hired and he sucks. What happened in both those seasons? Kansas City Chiefs lifted the Lombardi. If they gave out Lombardis in November and December, the Chiefs might be in trouble, but they don't. And the reason that this is a silver line, the reason I wanted to talk about this Texans game is because it's the NFL, man. Kansas City Area Youth Jazz just said it in the chat. It's the NFL. Any given Sunday, those dudes on the Panthers stink. But Bryce Young is not the same quarterback he was in September. He seems to be improving. He's a former number 1 overall pick. He's fighting for his career. He got benched for Andy Dalton. The dude's going out there. He's trying to ball out. Guys like Adam Thielen. This is Thielen. This might be his last ride, man. He gets a chance to take down the defending Super Bowl champs at home. It happens. It's a long season. As I mentioned earlier, teams start to figure out some of the things that you do. They start to come up with what they look at. Oh, what did Denver do? Oh, we found a couple of plays that work for Denver. Oh, and then you know what? The Buffalo Bills, they build on that a little bit. And then they come at you with a good game plan. You've got injuries, attrition. You don't know how many people on the Chiefs defense are hurt or struggling right now who are still out there playing. It doesn't mean the Chiefs shouldn't be criticized. And we spent most of this Victory Party podcast criticizing them and talking about the things that they need to work on. But what it does mean is that it's the NFL. It's really friggin' hard to win, even when you're playing shitty teams. Do you remember when the undefeated Green Bay Packers, was the year the Packers won the Super Bowl? Only Super Bowl they won with Aaron Rodgers. And they came in, and I think they were like 12-0 or something. And they played the Chiefs. And Romeo Crennel was the interim coach because it was the year they fired Todd Haley. Chiefs beat them. Chiefs beat the Packers, the mighty Packers. They went on to win the Super Bowl. Were the Packers a disaster? No, just it happened. And again, it worked out for the Chiefs because it got Romeo Crennel the job. Then the next season, he was horrible, and the Chiefs went 2-14, and then they hired Andy Reid, and now we're here. So these games happen. Really shitty teams play good against really good teams. And again, I'll say it again because I've said it every week. The Kansas City Chiefs use the regular season as one long preseason. They're the best team. They're the best coach team in the NFL. They're the best team at making adjustments. They're the best team at winning with what they have. And this team has had to make more adjustments this season than any Chiefs team I can remember in the Patrick Mahomes era. They lost Hollywood. They lost Rashee Rice. They lost Harrison Butker. They lost Watson. They lost Wiley. Wiley mattered. Wiley was playing like 30% of the snaps. They were using him. He just wasn't catching balls. This team they're playing with DeAndre Hopkins, Kareem Hunt. They don't have Pacheco. They don't have Harrison Butker. So, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. It doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl, but it's a mark of how well coached they are. Shout out to Crazy Cream for joining a rookie camp. Welcome, friend. This is just a mark of how well the Chiefs are coached. That you can look back, look at the season, look at all the injuries they have, the subpar play for him of Patrick Mahomes, the sort of declining, not as dominant play of Travis Kelce, the lack of sacks from Chris Jones. I mean, if I told you all the injuries, if I told you all the interceptions and the numbers that Mahomes has this season and Kelce and Chris Jones before the season, would you have in your wildest dreams imagined that they would be 10-1 with the schedule that they've had? No, of course not. But they're still fighting for the number 1 seed. So we've seen this before. They were way worse in the regular season last year. They could do anything on offense, couldn't catch the ball. They won the Super Bowl. They went through one of the hardest roads I've seen. So that is my silver lining for you, is that these things happen. It's the NFL. The Chiefs have things they need to work on, but this is far from a disaster. This would have sunk most any team in the NFL, what has happened to the Chiefs this year from an injury standpoint and some of the subpar play that they've gotten from their big stars, right? Like this team is Kelce, Mahomes, Chris Jones. And none of those guys have played great this year. And they're 10-1. So take a deep breath. They're going to figure it out. When they get to the playoffs, they're going to throw the book at these teams. We know they hold stuff back, all that. They're going to be all right. But they've got some issues that they have to figure out how to fix. But if there's a single coaching staff in the NFL that I'm betting on to fix them, it's Kansas City Chiefs. All right. Lucas says, small correction, the Packers did not win the Super Bowl that year. They didn't? I swear that was the year they won the Super Bowl. Are you sure? When did they win the Super Bowl? Was it the year after that or the year before that? Somebody's got to let me know. You know what sucks about doing the show solo is that I can't finish my beer during the show because I'm talking the whole time. We're going to have to pull you guys on the show one of these times. Just pull one of you guys on. All right. Let's give out some hardware. If you're in the chat, we do a segment here at the end of every post-game show where we hand out hardware to Chiefs that we think earn their arrowheads. Do you remember that from the Todd Haley era? He showed up to camp and he took the arrowheads off everybody's helmet like a dope. And he was like, you got to earn your arrowhead like these guys were like high school kids, you know? You got to earn your arrowhead. When you made the team, you'll get an arrowhead. Like stupid crap. It's a wonder one of them didn't kill him. Josh Clayton says 2011 Packers won the Super Bowl. Okay, so what year am I talking about? At any rate, point still stands. They were really good. Anyway, Todd Haley, not a good coach. Earning their arrowheads in with actual Chiefs players, stupid. But here at the Arrowhead Addict podcast, fun way for us to recognize and award players who played well in this one. And I'm going to start off with the guy who sometimes doesn't get a lot of arrowheads either because it's just expected that he's going to be brilliant or, he doesn't play well. And a lot of times this year he's not played well. But it's Patrick Mahomes, 36 of 41, 330. I'm looking at the wrong damn box score. Hang on. I'm looking at that Texans box score. I wish he threw for 341 in this game. 27 to 37, 269, and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Mahomes didn't really put any passes in harm's way in this one. 120 quarterback rating, played great. Obviously had the run that iced the game for them. So he's getting an arrowhead. Again, let me know in the chat who gets an arrowhead from you for the performance in this one. I'll read some of them. I got to give one to Noah Gray, man. 4 receptions, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's 4 touchdowns in 2 weeks. Caught all 4 of his targets. Continues to be impressive for Kansas City. Carson, I'm not giving one to Carson Steele, but do you guys notice this dude? I swear to God, he looks at his shoes when he runs. He has no clue where he's going. I love him. He's Chiefs Thor. He's a folk hero. I'm glad he's on the team. I'm glad he's a short yardage back. But the fucking guy gets the ball and just like a battering ram. It doesn't matter if there's somebody in the way or not. He just puts his head down, just runs right into the back of guys. There's like holes on either side. Doesn't care. Love him. Look, you got to look up, man. You got to look up. All right. Oh man, is anybody on the defensive side of the ball? I'm going to give one to Turk Wharton, man, just for the hustle play, because there was not a lot to like on the from the defense in this one, but at that Turk Wharton hustle, he had a quarterback hit, he had 2 tackles, and he was out there running his ass off. So I'll give one to Turk Wharton. He's the only defender that's getting one from me. Yeah, anybody? Oh yeah, got to give one to Samaje Perine for that return. That was fantastic. I thought he was gone. It was a great tackle. I'm not giving one to McCole Hardman, but I will award him the Demarcus Robinson "Which Way Do I Go" award for running backwards on the one punt. Just had bad flashbacks. And then I got to give one to the kicker, Spencer Schrader, 3 for 3 on extra points, and the winner there, 41-yard field goal for the Chiefs. It's always scary when you've got a kicker, a rookie especially, coming in. You don't know what you're going to get. So far, so good with Schrader. He's perfect, and that's exactly what we would have expected from Harrison Butker. So Butker's going to be out for a couple more weeks. So Schrader certainly is a Chief now. I would say did a nice job last week. I don't think he kicked any field goals. He earned his Arrowhead now, the game winner. So credit to him. Let's go to the chat and see who you guys are giving Arrowheads to. Let's see here. Yeah, Thomas says Schrader. Agreed. Scott McGroot says D-Hop has been solid. Yeah, D-Hop had a touchdown catch. That's right. 5 receptions for 35 yards this one. Only averaging 7. I don't know what to make of D-Hop yet. Like, he's just got there, man. It's so hard to just come in and start dominating as a wide receiver like that when you weren't in training camp with the team. You're still learning the playbook. You're building a rapport and timing with Patrick Mahomes. But I would say he's given us at least as much as I had hoped for. He's made some key catches. He's been a force in the red zone for them. So, shout out to DeAndre Hopkins. He certainly gets an Arrowhead. I think that's a good call out. We need more from Juju. I'll say that now that he is back. That would really help. Crazy Cream says McDuffie gets as much consideration for his hardware as Andy Reid gets per season for Coach of the Year. Yeah, right. It's true. McDuffie's great. He's getting challenged this year. He struggled at times, but I still think he's excellent. Kansas City area youth jazz says D-Hop gets an Arrowhead. Mike Dana. Yeah, Dana. Nice day from Dana as well. Look, this is a game, 30-27, Carolina Panthers. You're not going to remember. You're not going to care about. You're not going to think about later in the season. It's just another W for the Chiefs. You're going to get really annoyed if you turn on Sports Talk this week, except for Arrowhead Addict, of course, because they're going to be on there and they're going to be like, the Chiefs are frauds. Put the Chiefs on fraud watch. They almost lost on the road to the Panthers. The Panthers stink. They lost to the Bills. Blah, 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 blah. It's going to be obnoxious. Don't even do it. Enjoy Thanksgiving week with your family. Eat a lot of turkey. And then get ready to see the Chiefs hopefully stomp the Raiders on Black Friday. Get a little holiday revenge against those guys. Raiders are not good. But Chiefs aren't playing great right now. So no game is a give me, as today proved. All right, listen. So here's the schedule. We'll have our regular scheduled shows this week, except for Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. So there'll be no OG hour on Thursday. Here's what we're doing. Sterling is on vacation. So there's no Tuesdays with Sterling. So you'll still have the intangibles on Monday. Tuesday will be the OG hour with me and Adam Best. You'll have a regular Wacky Wednesday on Wednesday. Oh, no. So it's just Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. I got it wrong. So because Sterling is out, Tuesday, Wednesday. Intangibles moves to Wednesday. OG Hour on Tuesday. Thank you to producer Richard for clearing that up for me. So two shows heading into the week. And then enjoy your Thanksgiving. Stuff yourself. Enjoy. Be with your family. I'm thankful for the Arrowhead Addict community, our members, and all of you listeners and everybody out there in YouTube land for keeping the show rocking and rolling. And then of course there's a Black Friday Raiders game. I'll be there. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Again, enjoy the rest of the games today and have a very happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week. And until then, as always, go Chiefs.